Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to our next little review video here. Just going over these couple questions. I apologize for not creating that kind of like new lesson idea. I unfortunately couldn't really think of a great one to do right at this moment. However, for the next asynchronous day that we have like this, not the Friday one, but when we have a whole couple days like this, I will do my best to make a brand new idea. I don't know. Time got the better of me. That always kind of happens, but review videos are important as well. It's good to practice, good to go back and make sure we've actually mastered this stuff. Make sure we're somewhat quick at it. So, I want to remind people that you should be doing all of this review. You should be trying to do it alone first and then watching me afterwards. There is an answer key at the end, so you can even, do a problem, check the answer key. If you got it right, why bother watching what I'm doing? If you got it right, then you're good to go. But if you'd rather just, watch me do it and do it at the same time, there's nothing really wrong with that. It's not technically the best way to make sure that you're learning the material. You could also pretend that this is like a test where you do the entire thing yourself and then grade it afterwards and see how well you've truly learned Algebra 2 so far this year. I'll let you decide, how you want to handle that. Let's do it. Let's hop right into it. Solving each equation. This is more of our Algebra 1 review, but I am doing stuff since the beginning of the year, and yeah, nothing wrong with that. Let's do it. So this is 6 getting distributed. We're just doing distributive property. Same thing with the 2 on the other guy there. So that's going to be 30r minus 6 is negative 4r plus 2r minus 6. Combining like terms on the right-hand side. On the left-hand side, there's nothing to combine. So it's going to be a negative 2r minus 6. And honestly, I think I should be using a black pen. This blue is not showing up as much as I want it to. Moving on here, using my little switcheroo trick, that negative 2r is going to move to the left and become positive. The negative 6 is going to move to the right and become positive. So we're going to have 30r plus 2r equals negative 6 plus 6. That's 32r equals 0. Don't be tricked by the 0. It's okay. Divide both sides by 32, and we get r equals 0. Continue on. Number 2 here. I don't even know why number 2 is even easier than number 1, but it is. Less distributive property. Negative 2x. Negative 8 plus 3 is negative 5 equals 1. Add 5 to both sides. Negative 2x equals 6. Divide both sides by negative 2, and x equals negative 3. Easy peasy. Sometimes you get those freebies. Continuing on. I'm going to pause. Alrighty, guys. I'm back. I guess it was like, only a millisecond for you guys between those two things. But, I'm back. Here we go. Let's do this. I need to get back on track. Where was I? We're on problem number 3, looks like. We got to distribute this negative 5 to both. So we got negative 40 minus 40x on the right-hand side there. And now we got to use our little switcheroo idea. We're going to bring this negative 40x to the left, make it positive 40. That 24 move to the right, make it negative 24. So that's a negative 8x plus a 40x equals a negative 40 minus a 24. So negative 8 plus 40 is positive 32x. Negative 40 minus 24, negative 64. Divide both sides by 32, and you are finished. X is negative 2. So by the way, if I did that too fast, I do any of these too fast. Remember, it is a video. You can pause it. You can chill, rewatch, that kind of thing. No rush. This is not supposed to be a quote-unquote regular class where you got to keep up with everything. It's totally cool to stand up, take a break, get a glass of water, that kind of thing. Do what you got to do. Power through, finish when you can. All right. 7 distributes to both. 3 distributes to both. 42 plus 14r plus 15r plus 9 equals negative 65. Add those like terms. 14 and 15 is 29r. 42 and 9 is 51 equals negative 65. Subtract 51 on both sides of the equation. We're going to get 29r equals, oh boy, what is that? Negative 116. Right there. And divide both sides by 29. And that should be exactly negative 4. Right. Continuing on, number 5, don't be afraid of fractions. It's not that big a deal. So how do we get rid of fractions? Well, it means division. So we get rid of them by multiplying both sides by 8. So if I do times 8 on both sides, the 8 times 8 is going to cancel there. And we get n plus 8 absolute valued equals 16. To solve absolute value equations, we split into 2. So we got n plus 8 equals 16, and n plus 8 equals negative 16. Subtracting 8 on both sides gives us 8 and negative 24. Continue on to number 6. First, we're going to subtract 5 on both sides. Be careful here. Don't by mistake do 5 minus 10 first. You can't, because this is being multiplied here. So you got to do reverse PEMDAS. You can't take that 10 away and deal with it here. We got to subtract 5 first. Whoops. Sometimes my handwriting just leaves so much to be desired. Negative 10, 4r minus 1 equals, this is going to be negative 30. I'm running out of room on writing this problem, so instead of writing this both sides divided by 10, I'm just going to do it. This is a good idea for yourself in terms of saving room on your paper and saving your hand from writing, is just admitting to yourself, hey, I'm going to divide both sides by negative 10. I don't need to show that. It's going to disappear here. And over here, it's going to give me like positive 3. You can do this as often as you feel like. I'm going to try to do it the rest of the question here. 4r minus 1 equals 3. 4r minus 1 equals negative 3. So 1 positive, 1 negative. Add 1 to both sides. 4r equals 4. Divide both sides by 4. You'll get 1. Add negative 3 and 1 is negative 2. Divide both sides by 4. You get negative 2 over 4, which reduces to negative a half. You could also write negative 0.5. I don't care which. Continue on. Power through. Number 7. So that negative 3 has to get distributed. Negative 18 minus 15x. Negative 3 times 3 is negative 9. Negative 3 times 5 is positive 15x. Negative 27 over here. Add like terms. You get 27 equals, negative 27 plus 0x, question mark. Well, here 0x is canceled out, really. It's not there. And then you have negative 27 equals 27. That is one of our special rules. Anytime that happens, you get all real numbers as your answer. You can write it with an R, a little slash through it. You can write ARN. You can write negative infinity, comma infinity. That's up to you. Number 8 here. Starting off, add 6 to both sides. I put this one here as a reminder that not only can we have all real numbers as an answer to a problem, but this one is no real solution, the empty set, because you have an absolute value is equal to a negative number. That cannot happen, so no real solution to this problem. Continue on. Here we go. Well, it's supposed to be number 9, but it says 15. Okay, just printed like backwards. Thank you, Mr. Printer. All right. So I'm just going to graph its solution. I forgot when I was making this up that I wanted you to also write answer in interval notation. So if you didn't do that, I guess it's okay, because I didn't tell you to do it till now. But interval notation is preferred for a lot of these questions. Let's do it. So we're going to go ahead and do v minus 5. I'm going to add 10 to both sides, doing plus 10 on both sides of the equation. It's going to give me a 3 here. We split this into 2. Alligator is not eating the absolute value, so it creates an and. And v minus 5 greater than negative 3. So I flip the sign, make that negative. Add 5 to both sides. And we get v is less than 8 and v is greater than 2 with an and in between. Making our cutesy little graph. 2 here, 8 here, 5 goes in the middle. 2 to 8 open circles because they do not touch. Interval notation is going to look like a coordinate for this problem. 2 comma 8 because it's all the values from 2 to 8 parentheses because they don't have open circles. So it's important to remember this is not a coordinate. That means all the values v between 2 and 8. Number 10, it could be a long problem if you don't notice, but right away the answer is actually all real numbers. To write that in interval notation, it's negative infinity comma infinity. So this time with interval notation, you do have to write it that way. Why is it all real numbers? Because every real number is bigger than a negative. So, or every absolute value is bigger than a negative. So that will just literally never happen. Or literally always happen. Never happen. My brain. Caught from the team sometimes. All right, number 11. Here we go. Evaluate each function. So to evaluate a function, you're replacing the variable with whatever is on the inside of the parentheses here. So this, like a, is becoming a -9, which means that a is becoming a -9. Then you just simplify. -4 times -9 is 36. 36 and 1 is 37. So f of -9 is 37. Remember visually that this means that there's a coordinate -9 comma 37 on the graph. Notice how this one is a coordinate and that one is an interval, and there's the only way to tell is by context of the question, so you got to be careful. Number 12, this one, w of 3 minus y. So that t is becoming a 3 minus y, which means that this t is becoming a 3 minus y. So t became 3 minus y, 3 and the 1 are the same. Simplify. 9 minus 3y plus 1, add like terms, you get -3y plus 10. You could have also done 10 minus 3y. There's no difference there. There we go. All done. Number 13, graph the following function based on your knowledge of parent function and transformations. Only put one of these on here. We're going to be doing a lot more parabolas in the near future anyways, but it's a good idea just to remind all the stuff that happens. So negative sign out front, that is a flip over the x-axis. That makes it a frowny face parabola. Going back, that 1/2 there is going to make it wider than normal. Wider by factor of 2. It's called a you can call it a it depends on how you want to do it. You can call it a horizontal stretch or a vertical compression because you're making it flatter. Vertical compression is usually how it's done, but most important is this wider. This guy right here is going to be left 1 unit, and that is going to be up 2 units. So you're just making a quick sketch is all you're doing. So -1 up 2 is going to be about right there, and it's a wider parabola, so make sure you draw it kind of obnoxiously wide by comparison to a regular one, just to make it clear that you understand that it's definitely a wide parabola. We will be learning in the near future how to find all the other coordinates and make a really nice, neat, beautiful graph of the situation, just not doing it right this moment. Number 14, write the point slope form of the equation of the line through the given coordinates here. So to do that, we got to remember a few things. We want to remember that our slope is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So in this case, we have -5 minus 0. I'm doing y2 minus y1 divided by -3 minus -1. That's x2 minus x1. It's going to give me -5 divided by -2, which is 5 over 2. You could write it as 2.5 if it makes you happy. After that, you just got to plug it into our equation here. F of x or y equals m times x minus x1 plus y1. So m is 5 over 2 times x plus 1 plus 0 if you wanted to. You don't actually need that plus 0 in the equation. You can kind of just leave it like that. Easy peasy. Hopefully. Please note you could have also used the +3 here and the -5 out here. That would have been fine as well. You can use any coordinate you want for that guy. Number 15 and 16 is more of the same, but I want to encourage you to, you can even do this without really knowing the, that point slope form and taking your time of doing that, just by doing some counting. That's why I put 2 here, so you can kind of practice the counting if you're going to watch me do 15, and then you can do 16 afterwards. Let's check out the counting method. So the counting method is going to do this. We can just say that the slope is the change of y over the change in x, that rise over the run, the up over the down. So we can just count from this coordinate to this coordinate. It could be any 2 coordinates at all, so it could have been down to here too. But we just count. We're going down 1, 2, 3, and then to the right 1. So in this case, it's -3 over 1, or just -3. And therefore our equation is f of x equals -3x plus 1 plus 2. Same plus 1 plus 2 as that parabola. You know, left 1 up 2. It's always the opposite sign here in the middle. And that's our same, by the way, mx minus x1 plus y1 we were doing before. I encourage you to do the same thing for number 16. So on number 16, I'm going to choose... Ooh, this one's harder to find some dots that actually work. How about this one there and this one there? Okay. So over here, it looks like I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So we have a 5 on the bottom here and a 1, 2, 3 up. So our equation f of x equals 3 over 5 multiplied by x plus 5, and then again plus 0 on the outside that I do not need to write. We're almost done, guys. Powering through right to the end. Number 17, factor completely, our most recent lesson. So we got to figure out the stuff that multiplies to -45 first. So we got 45. 1 times that 45. 2 does not work. 3 does work. 3 multiplied by 15. 4 does not work. 5 does work. 5 times 9. 6 doesn't work. 7 doesn't work. 8 doesn't work. 9 would be a repeat. So those are our only possibilities. We are multiplying to a negative, so one of these guys needs to be a negative for sure. Adding to a positive, which means the number on the left needs to be our negative. These guys add to 44. These guys add to 12. No, I'm putting an arrow, not an equal, because it's not multiplying, it's adding to check. -5 times 9, or -5 plus 9 is 4. That's the one we wanted, because this guy matches with this guy, so we're done. N minus 5 times n plus 9. Gorgeous. Number 18 requires us to recognize there is a 3 in front of all 3. That's called our monomial factoring. I believe there might have been one of the 4 classes who didn't get to write that down yet, so I apologize if this is not seen yet, but the idea is the 3 is going to come out in front. It's kind of like reverse distributive property. I'm dividing by 3 so that if I wanted to, I could redistribute that 3 to all terms. After that, it's exactly the same as the last question. 1 times 27. 2 doesn't work. 3 times 9. Nothing else works if you keep trying it out. Multiplies to a negative. This time adds to a negative, so it means the bigger number gets the negative sign. These guys add to -26. These guys add to -6. And that is what we wanted. We wanted that -6 there, so the 3 is copied. X plus that 3, x minus that 9. Number 19 is the special difference of 2 squares. You have a square here, a square there, so you just write it 1 with the plus sign, 1 with the minus. We did the square root of 25 to get that 5. That's it, guys. So have a good one. Enjoy your Thanksgiving break. Try to stay safe, happy, healthy. If you did grade yourself going through about how well you did, I would like you to go ahead and think about how much you've actually learned this year, about how much maybe you relearned, or at least got something down out of it. Because if you have been learning so far this year, you really should be giving yourself a pat on the back. It's not the easiest to learn in the totally online environment, the stressful world around us. And keep your head held high, do the best you can. That vaccine's coming. Multiple have started the process, and they've actually started the process of vaccine approval in other countries as well. So fingers crossed, life is back to normal by May or June. And be proud of yourselves for making it this far and dealing with high school in one of those difficult times. Have a great Thanksgiving break, and I will see you next week.